We're going to talk about the swing now. Invariably, people say the swing is the thing. If you have the right swing, the right fundamentals, it's really going to make a great difference to you. And you see, there's been nothing new in the swing come up in the last 50, 60 years. If you think about the swing, you go back to people like Ben Hogan and Sam Snead, even way back to Percy Boomer. These were the people that put all the theory on the table for us today that we're all trying to improve on. But what I am here today to try and help you with is to try and help you to find out what suits you. We must make this more simple for the senior golfer. The senior golfer has a tremendous fault in his grip. They're all inclined to grip weakly. Now, the reason why you mustn't grip weakly, because your muscles get weaker. As you get older, you lose your suppleness, you lose your speed in your body and your hands, and you've got to do something to compensate. So if you have a weak grip, which so many golfers have, and a weak grip is when your left thumb goes straight down the shaft and you cannot see any knuckles. This is the grip for the professionals. Left thumb straight down the shaft, seeing one knuckle. I've blackened the knuckles for you to see clearly. What you've got to do is put your left thumb on the right-hand side of the shaft, and without moving your head or your hands, you should be able to see 3 knuckles, or at least 2 knuckles. Straight away, that's going to enable you to draw the ball and get more club head speed. The right hand must be parallel. You mustn't be milking the club as though you're on a BMW motorcycle. You've got to have your right hand parallel with the left hand there. Now, that's a strong grip, and it's going to give you a lot more power. The backswing, you've got to go back in one piece and a little bit on the inside. As you get older, you've got to go back in one piece and a little bit more on the inside to enable you to wind up so you can get some power. If you don't wind up, you're not going to get any power. So by going back on the inside, you get a little bit more power. And as you start down, your weight must move to your left side and keep the body moving and even take a little step forward, but don't hang back. Here's a swing from above. Very unusual angle. Back in one piece, nice and wide. Hands slightly on the inside. Shoulders turning. Club pointing slightly across the line of intended flight. Pull down with the left hand, the start of the downswing. You initiate the downswing by pulling down with the left hand and the left knee moving lateral to the target. You strike the ball with your head over the ball, not behind the ball. The head's directly over the ball. The weight is moving forward, and you follow through completely, and if necessary, take a step forward. I'll hit a ball for you and show you what I mean. Stronger grip, back in one piece, and notice the top part of the body. See how I'm standing now? I'm not with my body way back in this reverse C where you get tremendous backache. As you get older, your stance must be a little narrower, because when you stand too wide, you can't transfer your weight. So if you stand a little narrower, you can do this. And then you've got to avoid the senior slump. So many people inclined to stand at the ball, slumping over the ball like that. Stand up a bit. Stand tall and take it all. Don't stay short. You're going to lose your arc. If you stand up, you give yourself a wider arc, back and forth. The speed of the swing, remember this. If you swing slower, it's a longer backswing. If you swing fast, it's a shorter backswing. And we all need time. We need time in the swing. So if you go slower, you give yourself more time, you have a longer swing, and you give yourself time to hit the ball and time to get through. Ideally, the swing would be what I call par-lat. Par-lat. When you get to the top of your swing, back wide, the club will be parallel with the ground, as you can see there. Parallel with the ground. That's the par. Now, the first move as you start down, your knees move lateral into the ball. It's called par-lat. So here we go again. Parallel, lateral. And then you strike the ball, and if anything, you move forward. But you've got to get the momentum as you start down, that the body is moving forward and not hanging back. If you can do that, you will improve your game overnight. And now hitting the ball, watch how that weight moves forward from above. You can see, there it is. From above, you can see the weight actually moving forward, starting the downswing, the initiation of the downswing, the weight moving forward, and the left hand pulling the club down. You don't see a twist. You don't see a spin out of the way. One of the biggest faults in golf through coming over the ball is twisting, spinning out of it. Watch from the top now how the weight moves forward and the left hand pulls down. Watch how the club is accelerating through the ball. Do not decelerate. Watch the acceleration through the ball into the complete follow-through. Good balance. Now, I'm going to give you a little tip about park the car in the garage. What has park the car in the garage got to do with golf? Your hands right here are your car, and here's your garage, folks. So you take your car and you park it in the garage. Let me show you again. Your hands are your car, your automobile. Here's your garage here. You take your car, park it in the garage, and hit the ball. I'm going to hit this now. Remember what I said? Park the car in the garage. Here the hands are. Watch how I park it in the garage. Parked in the garage. Impossible for me to hit it better than that. Now, you people have got garages in some strange places. I watch a man come out and he plays golf, playing in the Pro-Am. He gets up there, he's very nervous. He says, I must park the car in the garage. Watch where he puts his hands. Not a bad shot, was it? Right down the middle, but look where I parked them. That's a typical weekend golfer. Now we get what we call Zorro. Zorro comes on the tee. He's what I call the flippy-wristed college kid, you see. He stands up there like that, always wiggling around, hits the ball, and he follows through. There. No parking the car in the garage. Now you get the man who comes from the windy part of the world. Its wind blows so hard that even the birds are walking. He stands on the practice tee, he hits a full driver on the practice tee into the wind, and the caddy throws the ball back at him. That's how hard the wind blows. So he gets up there, and this is his idea of parking the car in the garage. Doesn't get through the ball. Here is the phony. This man never parks his car in the garage the first time. There we go. Hits the ball, and then stops here, then he goes and gives that follow-through afterwards. Those are the swings we don't want. We want the one movement through the ball. You've got to hit and hold, as I mentioned earlier. Park the car in the garage. Here we go. Watch. One sweep through. Try and picture that. That'll really help you. Let me show you in slow motion. Weight moves forward, pulling down with the left hand. Park the car in the garage. One movement. Let me show you that again, because I think it's probably the most important thing we're going to show you in the video. Right, park the car in the garage, weight moving forward, left hand pulling down. Look at the balance. Right through the ball. Good shots are follow-throughs when you're playing bowls, whether it's bowls American style, whether it's lawn bowls the rest of the world style on grass, or whether it's throwing a ball, it's through, whether it's kicking an American rugby ball, American football, or a rugby ball, or a soccer ball, you follow through. Whether it's baseball, you pitch and you wait, your weight goes through it, and you follow through. Whether it's boxing, you get forward. You never see a boxer hitting this way. It's forward. Tennis, a man throws the ball up in the air, winds up, hits the ball, and gets his weight on his left side and goes through. Backhand is through. Forward hand is through. You never hang back. You've got to move forward with that weight. Whatever you do in any sport, the weight moves forward. Watch throwing a ball. Wind up with your weight on the right. Now watch, the weight moves forward, and then you throw. Even if you're throwing that rugby ball in America, you hold it, and you get wind up, your weight moves forward, and then you throw. Same thing with golf. I'm sure that'll help you very much.
Golf Magazine, the official magazine of the Golf Channel.
cure for the yips. Golf Channel tournament coverage. On the next Golf Talk Live, we'll visit with 10-time PGA Tour winner Mark McCumber and his nephew Josh McCumber, following in his famous uncle's footsteps as a star golfer at the University of Florida. That's 2 generations of golfing McCumbers on the next Golf Talk Live.
Tonight at 12 a.m. Eastern, only on the Golf Channel.
You're watching the Golf Channel.
It's Gary's 4th shot of this par 5. Beautiful shot. A bunker shot is my favorite shot for the simple reason that I spent a lot of time playing out of the bunkers. That's why, as I'm standing in the practice area here right now, before I play, I invariably go and hit a lot of these different types of bunker shots because it helps the rest of the game. Why are you scared of a bunker? Be like Lawrence of Arabia. He spent a lot of time. In fact, he lived in the sand. Don't be scared of it. If you've got the right method, you can live in it. Here we go. Playing the first thing we've got to concentrate is cocking the wrist on the backswing. You don't go back like the normal swing in one piece. You cock the wrist a little early. Now watch the first swing. Cock the wrist. There we go. The second part is concentrate on accelerating the club head through the ball. Here we go. Cock the wrist. Accelerate. Remember, the sand is heavy. Now, the sand being heavy, it stops the club going through the ball. So you've got to make a special effort to go through. Cock the wrist. Accelerate. Now, make your stance a little wider than normal. A little wider because it stops you swaying. Just get your feet in the sand so that you don't sink in whilst you're in the middle of your swing. Little wider stance. Ball opposite the left foot, like a normal iron shot. Weight favoring the left side, just a fraction. Cock the wrist. Accelerate the club head through the ball and keep the head still. Don't go peeping. There's a lot of time to see where the ball goes. See how the head was down? A lot of time. You've got to swing it slow. Don't rush it. Wider stance than normal. Weight on the left side. Cock the wrist earlier. Head still and accelerate and take your time. Don't rush it. It's a lovely shot if you can play it well. And when those flags are tucked behind the traps, you don't have to be chicken and play to the extreme left of the green because you're scared to go in the trap. Spend a little time and enjoy it. If you've got a buried lie, which invariably happens, a buried ball, let's cover it up to quite an extent. Now, here's a time you don't worry about following through. Whereas the shot I just played prior to this one, I had the club face open. Now you keep the club face square. And all you do is put the ball in the center of your feet and hit down. And don't worry about following through. Hit down, and the ball will pop out with a lot of topspin. You can't get backspin from a buried lie. Once that ball is buried like that, you cannot get backspin. So keep the club face square, the ball in the center of your feet, and just chop down like that, and don't worry about a follow-through. It'll come out with a lot of topspin. Allow for the spin. If you get a ball that's lying on the upslope like this, now your ball's going to go higher than normal. So what you've got to do is hit very close to the ball. Hit very close to the ball to get it to the hole, because you're going to be inclined to leave it short. If you've got to lie on a downslope like this, here's a very difficult shot. Now you've got to pick the club up very quickly, otherwise you're going to hit that bank going back. And the same thing applies. Pick it up very quickly and just hit down, accelerating through the ball. But you've got to practice to play it well.
with a chance to go 8 under for the championship. He used all of the hole, but Gary is back to within 2 strokes of the lead, and he knows it.
Putting is such an important part of the game. If you really want to improve your game and lower your handicap, spend a lot more time putting. Create a feel, and we'll give you a few exercises to cultivate feel in a minute. The stance, well, that's something you've got to feel comfortable with. In fact, the grip and the stance, I cannot really tell you what to do, because you see some players with a closed stance, some with an open stance, wide stance, narrow stance, upright stance, crazy-looking grips, and they're wonderful putters. So you've got to feel confident. That's the big thing with putting. You've got to believe you're going to knock that ball in the hole. That's the important thing. But I will say this, most good putters I've seen, they take the club back in one piece and go through in one piece. In other words, it's one unit. You don't see them cocking their wrist and flipping their wrist all over the place and being loose. Watch the stroke. Both the hands working together as one unit with a nice tempo. Putting, you must have tempo. If you go back fast and jerky, you don't have the feel. So keep the putter nice and smooth going back with a nice acceleration through the ball. Keep your eye over the ball. In other words, your eye should be directly over the ball, and keep your head still. When I place the ball on the green, I place it so I can see the name, exactly what I want to strike the ball. And if I had to say the most important thing in putting, and that's to keep your head dead still and see the putter strike the name. Watch my head, absolutely still, and see the putter strike it, and then look up. Don't be in a hurry to look where it's going. There's a lot of time. Patient putting is a very important thing. Take the club back a little bit on the inside when you're going back. I don't see good putters take it straight back. They all go back a little on the inside, and they keep their head still, and a little acceleration into the ball is a good thing. Now, if you want to cultivate feel, go and practice 40-foot putts. Try and knock them close to the hole. Turn 3 shots into 2. In other words, a lot of amateurs are getting a long way from the hole and they take 3 shots. Or they're just on the edge of the green and they chip in 2 putts. Try and get down in 2. That reduces your handicap. That brings your score down. Practice a lot of long putts to cultivate feel. If you want to practice in your lounge, put a glass at the end of the carpet and try and put that ball in the glass. And then try and putt and stop the ball on the edge of the carpet. That cultivates feel. Putting will lower your handicap. Spend a lot more time doing it. Here are 3 drills that will really help your putting. You've got to get away from being ball conscious. I stand over the ball, line it up. Now close my eyes and stroke. It makes you really conscious of your stroke and smooth and getting through the ball. Line it up, close my eyes. In other words, all you're doing is thinking of the stroke. You're not worried about results. Now, on the other hand, here's another way to do it. A lot of putters have putted this way. My brother-in-law won the British Open Seniors last year in '91 without looking at the hole, without looking at the ball, pardon me. Stood up there, lined it up, looked at the hole, never took his eyes off. Here we go. You can see that, you see? Looking at the hole, lining it up. Now, not looking back at the ball, just look at the hole. And it makes you conscious of the hole, getting the putter going through to the hole. Now, another good exercise to keep your wrist working in one unit is the reverse grip, the reverse overlap. There's the normal grip, the reverse. By doing that, it makes the left hand and the right hand work as one unit. A wonderful exercise. It stops you from breaking that left wrist down. Those are 3 little exercises that will really help your putting. Do a little bit of experimenting. Anything to keep your hands working in one unit and to keep your head still.
Tough on the PGA Tour. but not as tough as what these kids face.
Dangers out there.
At the Nancy Reagan TPC Village in Jacksonville, Florida.
I just wish everybody would leave me alone, stay out of my business.
Young people in crisis.
I do not have a problem.
Discover they're not alone.
We all got the same disease. I need help.
I'm proud of our tournament, the Players' Championship, in my hometown.
This group's helped me a lot, man.
We directly support the Nancy Reagan TPC Village. It gives these kids a second chance.
Hello everyone, I'm Dwayne Vallon. Coming up on the next Golf Central, a big weekend for Jim Colbert on the Senior Tour, plus couples in love make it 4 in a row at the World Cup. Coming up next, only on the Golf Channel.
Later tonight on the Golf Channel, Golf Channel Academy at 11:30, followed by Golf Talk Live with Mark and Josh McCumber at 12, and Golf Channel Academy at 1 a.m. Eastern.
Player will win it.
I know what it's like to get that feeling where you're freezing over a putt and you're absolutely petrified, and I'm sure many of you have felt that as well. Take this little advice. Stand there and look and listen, not look and look. In other words, look at the ball, hit, and listen. You don't have to look to see if it goes in. You'll know if it goes in, you'll hear it. Look and listen. Look at the ball, eye on the ball, hit it, and listen. Now, for those of you that have the yips, the only thing that I've ever seen in my career that stops the yips, and that is the long putter. And the way you use this, you anchor that long part of the putter, the end of the grip, right against your breast here. You anchor it there with your left hand, holding on with only 2 fingers. You take away those 3 fingers. They just merely rest there. So you're hanging on to the breast there. You take your right hand and put it down. In other words, you're separating your hand. Keep your head still and putt it only with the right hand. Only with the right hand, no left hand at all. Just anchor the left hand and putt it with the right hand. It's a marvelous way of putting. It saved a lot of fellas on the Senior Tour. Orville Moody was a terrible putter with 2 hands and was putter of the year, putting with a long putter. There's hope for you. Don't give up if you got the yips. Exercise to the body is like reading to the mind. I think it's so important, I think, to do your daily exercise, or at least 4 times a week if you can. And now we're talking to the real golf enthusiast, because to get the average day man to do exercises is easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle. But for those real enthusiasts, go and visit your doctor. Start off slowly. Get his advice. Don't rush at it like a bull at the gate. And you must, to improve your scores, start off being loose and stretched and hitting a few balls before you play. Don't rush out onto the first tee and expect to score well. You can definitely lower your handicap and improve your golf if you're fit and you loosen up before you start. Here's a little exercise you can do in your, what I call conveniency exercises in your bathroom while your bath water is running. Hold these little light weights, 3.5 pounds, and you can just turn it around like that, strengthen your shoulders, get them loose, stretch this way like that, get those shoulders back. You can take the weight with one hand and just swing it there like that. You can take your right hand and swing it there like that. You can take them both together and hold them together and swing it that way like that and loosen up. Now, this is for the forearms. Now, you hold those 2 weights with your elbows to your side, and you rotate round in a circle anti-clockwise. Now, once you've done that, then you start doing it the other way, clockwise. See, so you've exercised the one way and the other. If you bring them up this way, you've then got to bring it up that way. So you've got to do the opposite all the time. Remember, we spoke about exercise as a fountain of youth, that to keep fit is important, and to do what I call conveniency exercises, because it's very difficult, so I hear, for people to spend a lousy 10 minutes a day on their body. The best investment you can make in the world, and the best return that you get for your investment, is in your body for 10 minutes a day. But these you can do very easy. You can get a squash ball or a tennis ball. Doesn't matter what kind of ball it is. This is the easy one, the squash ball, and just squeeze it like that in your fingers like that in both hands. And then for the people that are really a little bit stronger, they can take a tennis ball and use that in their fingers and squash it like that. The single best exercise that I can think of for any golfer in the world is swinging this iron club. It's a heavy-weighted club. You can manufacture your own one. You can take just an old club and put a lot of lead tape around it, or you can swing a heavy bar, whatever you like, or a heavy piece of wood. You can take this club and actually put it behind your back like that. You can take this club and turn it this way. You can put it behind your shoulders this way and just turn like that and stretch like that, the best of your ability. Hold it there for a minute and then stretch it this way there and then stretch it left-handed again. You can do all kinds of exercise with it. For your arms, you can hold it there and just pick it up like that. That's strengthening all the golf muscles there. You do it with your left hand as well. You can take your right hand and turn it round this way in a circle and then circle it round this way here. It looks a lot easier on camera than when you actually lift this iron weight. This is quite a weight. If you swing this club, you'll play golf for a lot longer than you ever thought you would. At the age of 56, when I play today, I can get the club back almost as far as 99% of the young professionals, because this club is stretching me every single day, and I can go back like that, keeping my left arm straight and my left heel on the ground. This is magic. Use it. And now, a very, very important part of the game is the golf equipment. I think, having been a club pro, that most golfers are using the wrong equipment. Their shafts are too stiff, or they're too soft. The lie of the club is wrong. It's too flat or it's too upright. You can change your entire pattern of your game by altering the lie of your golf club. Graphite shafts, boron, very popular now. Really replacing steel, I think, in the long run. You take a club like these anvil clubs today that we manufacture. I spent a lot of time designing these. Gives you a nice big sweet spot. It's actually made out of aluminium and bronze. It's the softest metal that has ever been used in a golf club. Square grooves is something now that is here to stay. It looks like that anyway, which you can get a lot more backspin with, which is a great advantage. Another very important point to remember is as you get older, it's far more difficult to use the long irons. So why not carry a 5-wood, a 6-wood, and even a 7-wood and an 8-wood if it comes to that? Because you can get the ball up in the air so much easier with those woods than you can with a long iron. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, because we certainly try to make it a little bit different. And remember to concentrate on the part of the video that will help your game. Mark down your key thoughts on your player card and carry it with you whenever possible. The final thought is to go out and play in a positive frame of mind with a set of realistic goals and enjoy your golf. It's better to be 70 years young than 40 years old. And don't stop playing golf because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. And above all, remember, don't worry, be happy.
Coming up, the government may be about to shut down, but that will not stop Golf Central. We'll look at Jim Colbert's problems with debt. We don't think he has any. World superiority? We think Davis and Freddie have that pretty much covered. Medical aid? Paul Azinger and his Zinger Stinger are all over that subject. Golf Central shut down? No way.